Have you ever heard the phrase grey area drinker? And maybe you've wondered what it really means, or if you are a grey area drinker. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what a grey area drinker is, and I'm going to allow you to understand if you're falling into that grey area. I'm Simon Chapple, the Quit Alcohol Coach and the author of the Sober Survival Guide and the book How to Quit Alcohol in 50 Days. And if you're exploring your relationship with alcohol, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's new videos every Tuesday and every Thursday, and I would love you to be part of my YouTube community. Don't miss out. If you subscribe and hit the bell icon, you'll get notified every time there's a new video. So let's talk about grey area drinkers. Now, us humans, we like certainty, and most of the people I work with as a sobriety coach tend to be all or nothing or black or white type of people, and I'm absolutely someone who falls into that category. And when we're an all or nothing type person, that area in the middle, that grey area between the two, can feel really, really uncomfortable. We don't like being there. We like to be sure. We like to know what we are. Often we'll want to give ourselves labels and pigeonhole ourselves so we know what category we fit into. But grey area drinkers don't really fit into an all or nothing category. They're in that space in the middle. They're not rock bottom, complete chaos, life out of control drinkers, and neither are they moderate, in control drinkers who don't really have a problem with alcohol. They're somewhere in the middle, somewhere between moderate and somewhere between chaos. And part of the problem of grey area drinking is nothing major really happens. Over time, the level of alcohol we're consuming can creep up and up and up, and we move closer to that other end of the spectrum. But nothing terrible tends to happen. So we don't really notice until we have a problem and it becomes a major problem in our lives. But we can make changes to our drinking behaviour way before that. If we can cultivate a sense of awareness and start to notice that our relationship with alcohol has become unhealthy. And the fact you're watching this video tells me that you're curious about your drinking behaviour. Maybe you're wondering what's coming up in your own experience. So if you're noticing that maybe you are a grey drinker and maybe you've moved from being a sensible, in control drinker and the amount you're drinking is going up and up as the years pass by, then maybe now is time to take action. And you can take action by joining my Stop Drinking program. You can try it totally free. The address is on the screen now. Just head over to the website and you can start diving into all the content, the lessons, and connecting with the amazing members community right there. But I also want to share with you a few signs that you might be a grey area drinker. So let's see what they look like. The first sign that someone might be a grey area drinker is that they drink between the two extremes. They are not the rock bottom drinker, as I mentioned. Their life isn't falling apart because of alcohol. They probably consider themselves functioning and they can get by day to day. They might actually appear on the outside as somebody who's got a lovely life and they're happy and fulfilled, but underneath the surface, that's not what's going on. And neither are they a moderate drinker. They're in the middle. They are in that grey area. And what can happen is at times they might have massive blowouts. They might drink until they black out. But then they go back and they find themselves in this grey area. They might have days where they don't drink at all. And they tend to swing like a pendulum from either being in one of the extremes or spending a lot of time in that grey area in the middle. The second sign of a grey area drinker is that they worry about their drinking. And it might not show on the surface, but underneath and within, there's internal conflict going on. They will move from feeling okay about how much they drink, and they might reassure themselves by comparing how much they drink to what their friends drink, for example. Or they might seek out information online about drinking and the amount that's safe to drink and try and reassure themselves in some way. But there's a constant inner conflict and they move from feeling like they should stop drinking or drink less through to convincing themselves that they don't have a problem. That's a sure sign of somebody who is concerned about their drinking and needs to start taking action to make a change in their life. Another sign of grey area drinkers is actually that they can stop drinking at times. As I mentioned, they can go to the extreme of both ends of the spectrum at times, and they can find it relatively easy to stop drinking for periods, maybe days, weeks, months, or even years. I've seen some grey area drinkers who've been alcohol free for a year or two, but they always go back to drinking. They don't truly deal with the underlying issues around the reasons why they need to drink. And subsequently, that itch can get too powerful. It needs to be scratched eventually. And they go back to drinking. They don't rip the problem out at the roots. If they can rip the problem out at the roots, they'll never go back to drinking again. And this is what we talk about in my Stop Drinking program. I teach people how to rip this up at the roots. Rather than just putting a band-aid on the problem and trying to stop drinking with willpower, if we can deal with the reasons why we drink in the first place, then we take away the power from it. We remove it completely. And there's no need for willpower because we remove temptation. Another sign of a grey area drinker is that the people around you probably don't think you have a problem. You can project outwardly that you've got a great life, everything's fine, you're happy, yeah, you love a drink. Another sign of grey area drinking is when we drink to deal with our emotions. When our emotions are heightened, maybe we're feeling stressed or angry, worried or anxious, we use alcohol to deal with them instead of fully feeling our feelings. If we rely on alcohol to deal with our emotions, it's a sure sign that we're in the grey area drinking zone. And grey area drinkers generally think it's unfathomable to go out socially with friends and not drink, or even just to spend an evening without a glass of wine or half a bottle or even a full bottle. Generally, the amount we drink increases year on year. Take a moment, pause. Are you drinking more now than you were 1 year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago? What does your drinking look like? Is it on the increase? Because grey area drinkers generally find that the amount they drink increases over time, but they fail to pay attention to it. They don't stop to look. Instead, they spend their time trying to convince themselves that they haven't got a problem by seeking out confirmation from the people around them, from the media, and maybe even from the marketing messages from the alcohol companies that their drinking is perfectly normal. And the fact is that most grey area drinkers are concerned about how much they drink, but they push those feelings away by reassuring themselves and convincing themselves that everything's fine. Everyone else has got the problem, not them. But the reality is there's that internal pain, that constant discomfort and those niggling thoughts that alcohol is actually bringing negative consequences into their lives. So if you feel that you're in that grey zone, that you are a grey area drinker, don't do nothing about it. Take some steps, start to learn and explore what an alcohol-free life might look like. You can do that through my program, and there's loads of other ways that you can explore it gently with complete curiosity. Start by looking at my YouTube videos and finding out what you gain without alcohol in your life, rather than thinking about what you lose. Hopefully that gives you some insight into grey area drinking. And if you feel that that's you, don't hesitate to reach out to me or leave a comment below. And I'll see you next time.